In the last video, we looked at how we can send message from UI, and this video is a continuation of the last video on Twilio Salesforce integration. Now we're going to look into how we can use flows to automate certain requirements. So the use case for me is that anytime an opportunity is closed won, I want to send a congratulations message to the customer or the contact role, which is the primary contact role from that opportunity. So the requirement is the contact already has a phone number there, so we can send the message to, and we are sending it to only the primary contact role on closed one. So pretty simple flow. So I'm just going to start with the flow here. And anytime if you're building automation now, as the recording time of this video, always start with flow and see if that meets your requirement. If it doesn't meet your requirement, then only we go for other coded approach. But the first step always should be flow, not process or workflow. Okay, so I'm going to use a record triggered flow because I want to do something based on the trigger of the record or update of the record. All right, so since our object is opportunity, we're going to do that. And condition requirements, all conditions are met. I'm going to say stage is closed won. And actions and related records. And here we want to use asynchronous path because first of all, we're sending it to external system. So that's one of the main things you want to keep in mind anytime you're communicating with an external system is use asynchronous path as much as possible. So let's do that here. Done. And also it doesn't need to be in real time, so we should be okay using asynchronous path. And then my next step is, of course, we have to use action at some point, but first I need to get the actual contact role. So first I'm going to just get some records here. First I want to get the contact role and then get the contact for that contact role. So contact role. Opportunity contact role, and then what's my required criteria is opportunity ID equals to the record that entered here. So record.id, that's my requirement. Opportunity ID right here. And since I'm only saying it should be primary, so I'm also going to add that primary equals true. And only the first record, because just for simplifying this process, we're just saying there's only one primary contact role per opportunity in this org. Automatically store all the fields. Actually, and now we got the contact role. Now let's get the contact so we can actually send message to that contact email. Get contact based on contact role. So now we can say contact, and contact ID will be equal to the contact role ID, contact role.contact ID, because contact role is a junction between opportunity and contact. And that's all, because one contact only has IDs are unique, so we can just say one record. And I'm only interested in the phone number field, so I don't need to store all the fields, but you could if you wanted to. I'm going to store the phone number in a separate variable. So for me, it's the mobile phone, and I'm just going to create a new resource. So I'm just going to name it con mobile, and variable type will be text because there's no phone variable. So I'm just going to use the text, and available for output input. It's fine. So what I did here is I'm just querying the contact, and instead of storing everything, I'm only storing the mobile phone into this variable. So this arrow means I'm taking the mobile phone and storing in that con mobile variable, which we can later use to then send message to that number. You will see in the next steps. So we got the contact. Now we also need to make sure we are prepared for what the message will be. So I'm just going to create a new resource here. Let's just say it's a formula. Data type is text, And what I'm trying to do here is create a message for the person. Congratulations, your opportunity is closed at. You can also, so for the name, since we know that it's going to be the same opportunity that we passed into this flow, you can just use this name right here. The opportunity is closed, and you can also add date and other information that you may need. So, and also since I'm doing a string, I may need to use some quotes here, otherwise I will get error. Plus, and if there is any error, it will tell me we need to provide it a name. Let's just call it var message, because that's my congratulations message. Okay, so I created that, but if you didn't create that ahead of time, that's fine as well. As we get the action, we'll see. So now, just from practice, we know that most of the things that you need to do in terms of Apex action are under action. So now we need to find what action do we need to use. So my recommendation is always going to the type, because that has like definition, core action, Apex action. So most likely it's going to be an Apex action, because since we install the managed package, that comes with certain actions that you can use directly instead of rewriting the code. So here, see, Twilio send SMS message is what I need to use. Pretty descriptive. So send op congratulations. Nope. Message. So, and then what should be the message? And this is where the variable that we just created, the message, is useful. Otherwise, you can also come here and create directly from here, new resource, and then you can proceed with the same steps. Since I already created that, I'll just use var message here. Okay. And then what's the mobile number? Since we already also created a var mobile number, we can use that here. If you didn't create one, you'd have to go back and create that and get the value in there. So mobile, you can either include from mobile or not. I have not tried including it, but I would assume this would be the client number that we selected in the Twilio console, so that the customer knows where the phone is coming from or the message is coming from. And that is all here. I'm just going to connect these. Oh, I wanted to do it asynchronously, so let's do that again. Run asynchronously. And that is pretty much all here. I'm going to give it a name, Twilio message test. All right, so I'm going to activate this, save it first and activate. So I didn't get any error, so that means my formula was fine. If the formula is wrong, you usually get an error the moment you try to save it or activate it. Okay, so now let's go back to the opportunity. And I think I have the right phone number for Edna. That's the phone, but I have a mobile for my phone number. So now I'm going to just close this opportunity and see if I got a message. Closed one. I think that's what we picked. So this is saved. Now let's go to Edna's record, because there is also a component that shows you all the communication that happened over time. So I'm going to scroll down, and this was the last message. One more thing I want to check, what was the condition for the flow? Make sure we have the right condition. Closed one. Okay. So something did not work. I did not see the message yet. So let's see what happened. And that is a very common thing to happen as you are building things. So first thing first, we need to check whether or not this is a primary. So this is a primary contact role. So we are good there. Now let's look at the flow. How do you debug when you don't see the expected result? So my first option is actually going to the debug and seeing. So here's what I'm going to do. Click debug asynchronously and in rollback mode. And pretty straightforward way to test this is going here, since my gene point is already on closed one, right? So we'll just hit run. And okay, so here is the issue. And this is something I missed. So my trigger currently is a record is created. So if a record is created, obviously this is not going to work because I edited the opportunity record, the flow. But if you had any issues, that's how you debug it. You'd actually go to the debug log and debug it as per normal. So for now, I'm just going to go to my same flow again, and all I need to do is change it to update and not just create. Let's do that here. Updated. When a record is updated is my condition. Only when the record is updated to and meets the condition. Only when a record is updated to meet. So this is the option you want to pick, because you don't want to send message every time somebody updates something on opportunity to closed one. So this is the option you want to pick. Hit done and save as. Save again and activate this. So let's go back and just changing the stage back to something else so we can test this out again. Closed, close stage, closed one, save. And if everything works fine, we will see that a message was sent. And that is, congratulations, your opportunity gene point lab generators is closed. Awesome. So that's delivered. And I can also reply back to it saying thank you. That was it for the demo. I hope you found this helpful. Feel free to try out different use cases. And these days you may see a lot of messages sent when your order is ready to pick up or when you have an upcoming appointment with a doctor. So there are so many use cases. Be creative. Feel free to try out in your org and see what you come up with. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions and what are the use cases you come up with. If you have made it this far, please consider supporting my GoFundMe that I have started to help a student pay for her fees in Nepal. And due to COVID, it's really rough right now, and her parents lost their jobs and she's struggling paying for fees. So I've started this GoFundMe. I will be doubling for every $1,000. So consider sharing with your friends and family, and any donation, I will really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching.